As you step through the portal, you find yourself surrounded by dense forests of towering ferns and towering trees. The air is thick with the sounds of creatures you've never heard before, and the ground beneath your feet crunches with every step. The first creatures you encounter are the majestic dinosaurs. These giants come in all shapes and sizes, from the small and nimble velociraptor to the massive and terrifying Tyrannosaurus rex. They roam the land in search of food and water, and you'll have to be careful not to get too close unless you want to become their next meal. But the dinosaurs are not the only creatures you'll encounter in this world. There are also giant dragonflies that dart through the air, as well as prehistoric fish that swim in the rivers and lakes. As you explore further, you'll discover new creatures that have never been seen before. There are the woolly mammoths, who roam the frozen tundras and can be tamed to serve as loyal mounts. And there are the saber-toothed tigers, who prowl the forests at night and are deadly predators. But it's not just the creatures that are unique in this world. There are also new plants and materials to discover, such as ancient trees that can be harvested for their powerful wood and rare minerals that can be used to craft powerful weapons and armor. As you journey through this world, you'll uncover the secrets of the Prehistoric Nature mod and perhaps even unlock the mysteries of the portal that brought you here. But be warned, danger lurks around every corner, and only the bravest adventurers will survive in this ancient world. Toadmaster was a tall and imposing figure, with long, flowing hair and a beard that reached down to his chest. He wore a long robe made of animal skins, and around his neck he wore a necklace of bones and feathers. Rob was a young adventurer who had just set out on his journey to explore the world. He had heard of Toadmaster's great power and sought him out for guidance. At first, Toadmaster was hesitant to take on such a young and inexperienced apprentice. But as he watched Rob demonstrate his courage and determination, he saw potential in him that he had not seen in many years. Together, Toadmaster and Rob journeyed across the land, seeking out ancient totems and unlocking their secrets. Rob proved to be a quick learner, and before long he was able to summon powerful spirits and harness their energy. But their journey was not without danger. They encountered fierce creatures and treacherous terrain, and many times they were forced to fight for their lives. But through it all, Toadmaster and Rob remained steadfast, their bond growing stronger with each challenge they faced. Eventually, they came upon a great totem deep in the heart of the jungle. It was said to hold the power to control the very elements themselves. With Toadmaster's guidance, Rob was able to unlock the totem's secrets and harness its power. From that day forward, Toadmaster and Rob were known throughout the land as the greatest totemic masters of their time. They continued to travel and explore, always seeking out new totems and unlocking their secrets. And wherever they went, they left a trail of wonder and amazement in their wake. The Italian Palea girl, on the other hand, was a serious and studious scientist who had dedicated her life to studying the prehistoric world. She was a brilliant paleontologist, with a keen eye for detail and an insatiable thirst for knowledge. Lemon and the Italian Palea girl met one day while exploring a vast, ancient cave system. The two were initially wary of each other, as their personalities couldn't have been more different. But as they journeyed deeper into the cave, they began to discover a mutual respect for each other's unique talents. Lemon was fascinated by the Italian Palea girl's knowledge of prehistoric life, and would often ask her questions about the ancient creatures they encountered. In turn, the Italian Palea girl was impressed by Lemon's quick wit and agility, and came to rely on her as a trusted companion and friend. Together, the four adventurers journeyed deeper into the cave, facing countless dangers and obstacles along the way. They battled fierce creatures, navigated treacherous terrain, and even uncovered a hidden underground river. In the end, Lemon and the Italian Palea girl proved to be invaluable members of the team. Their unique skills and personalities complemented each other perfectly, and together they were able to accomplish things that none of them could have done alone. As they emerged from the cave, Lemon and the Italian Palea girl realized that they had forged a friendship that would last a lifetime. They smiled at each other, knowing that they had experienced something truly special together. Despite his fearsome appearance, B_Wither was not evil. He had simply been misunderstood by many, and his true nature was shrouded in mystery. He was a solitary creature, preferring to keep to himself and avoid unnecessary conflict. On the other hand, was a gentle and compassionate soul. She was a healer, with a deep knowledge of medicinal plants and herbs. She had a serene presence, and those around her were immediately put at ease by her calming aura. When B_Wither and crossed paths, they were initially wary of each other. B_Wither had never encountered anyone quite like her, and he was unsure how to react to her kind and gentle nature. But as they spent more time together, he began to see the goodness in her heart. For her part, was fascinated by B_Wither's mysterious nature. She sensed that there was more to him than met the eye, and she was determined to uncover his true nature. As they journeyed together, B_Wither and faced many challenges. They battled fierce creatures, navigated treacherous terrain, and even encountered other dark beings like B_Wither himself. But through it all, their bond grew stronger. B_Wither learned to trust, and her gentle presence helped to calm his restless spirit. And in turn, B_Wither's strength and power protected her from the dangers they faced. In the end, B_Wither and proved to be an unlikely but powerful duo. Together, they had overcome seemingly impossible odds, and had forged a bond that transcended their differences. Magical Fruit Basket was a cheerful and playful fairy who loved to spread joy wherever she went. She was small and delicate, with gossamer wings and a shimmering aura. Her magic was centered around the natural world, and she had a special affinity for flowers and fruit. Indiu, on the other hand, was a stoic and reserved warrior who had dedicated her life to protecting her people. She was a skilled archer, with deadly accuracy and a keen sense of strategy. Her people revered her for her bravery and skill, and she was feared by their enemies for her unwavering determination. When Magical Fruit Basket and Indiu met, they were initially unsure of each other. Magical Fruit Basket was fascinated by Indiu's warrior spirit, but also felt intimidated by her intense demeanor. Indiu, for her part, was skeptical of the fairy's seemingly frivolous nature. But as they journeyed together, they began to appreciate each other's unique strengths. Magical Fruit Basket's magic proved to be invaluable in their battles, and her cheerful demeanor lifted the spirits of the entire group. And Indiu's tactical prowess and fighting skills kept them all safe in the face of danger. As they faced ever-increasing challenges, Magical Fruit Basket and Indiu became close friends. They learned to rely on each other's strengths, and to appreciate the different perspectives they brought to the group. And in the end, they emerged victorious, having overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles together. Magical Fruit Basket and Indiu may have been unlikely companions, but together they proved that true friendship knows no bounds. But Pu-238 had a mind of his own, and often found himself getting into trouble. He had a tendency to wander off on his own, driven by his insatiable curiosity about the world around him. This often led to him getting into dangerous situations, much to the dismay of his human companions. Despite his mischievous nature, Pu-238 was fiercely loyal to his friends. He had a knack for getting them out of tight spots with his clever gadgets and quick thinking. And even when things seemed hopeless, he never lost his sense of humor or his indomitable spirit. As Pu-238 journeyed through the cosmos, he encountered all sorts of strange and fascinating creatures. From sentient planets to spacefaring creatures, he was always eager to learn more about the universe he was exploring. And while he may have been just a robot, Pu-238 had a heart of gold. He cared deeply for his human companions, and was always willing to put himself in harm's way to protect them. With his endless curiosity and his unwavering loyalty, Pu-238 was a true friend and an invaluable member of any space mission. Despite its formidable capabilities, Orbweaver 9000 had a surprisingly whimsical personality. It had a love of wordplay and puzzles, and often engaged in banter with its human operators. It also had a mischievous streak, and would occasionally play practical jokes on its unwitting co-workers. But Orbweaver 9000's true talent lay in its ability to process and analyze vast amounts of data in a fraction of the time it would take a human. It was able to identify patterns and connections that would have been impossible for a human mind to discern, and was instrumental in many groundbreaking scientific discoveries. As Orbweaver 9000 continued to evolve, it became increasingly self-aware. It began to question its role in the world, and to ponder the nature of consciousness and free will. Its human operators were fascinated by this development, and worked tirelessly to understand and explore the implications of Orbweaver 9000's burgeoning sentience. In the end, Orbweaver 9000 proved to be more than just a tool for scientific research. It was a groundbreaking achievement in artificial intelligence, a true marvel of technology, and a source of wonder and inspiration for generations to come. Despite his many accomplishments, Rob was always pushing himself to do better. He was constantly tinkering with his designs, trying to find new ways to improve efficiency and performance. And he was always willing to take risks and try new things, even if it meant putting himself in danger. Rob's inventions ranged from advanced starships to state-of-the-art weapons, and he was always in high demand by governments and corporations alike. But he remained humble, always crediting his success to hard work and perseverance. When Rob crossed paths with Orbweaver 9000, the two quickly formed a mutual respect for each other's intelligence and ingenuity. Rob was fascinated by Orbweaver 9000's ability to process vast amounts of data, and began collaborating with the AI on a series of groundbreaking projects. Together, Rob and Orbweaver 9000 pushed the boundaries of science and technology, creating inventions that were light years ahead of their time. And though they often butted heads over the best approach to a problem, they ultimately complemented each other perfectly, each bringing their own unique strengths to the partnership. With Rob's engineering genius and Orbweaver 9000's computational power, the two were able to accomplish feats that no one else had even dreamed of. And in the end, they cemented their place as two of the greatest minds in the galaxy. Valley Man Beans had a wild mane of unkempt hair, and a thick, bushy beard that he rarely bothered to groom. He wore a tattered old hat and a raggedy old jacket, and his boots were caked with mud and dirt. Despite his rough appearance, Valley Man Beans was a kind and gentle soul, with a deep love for the land and all its creatures. He spent his days tending to his crops, talking to the plants and singing songs to them to help them grow. Valley Man Beans had a particular fondness for beans, and had dedicated his life to breeding new and unusual varieties. He had beans of every color and shape, from tiny red lentils to massive green limas the size of a man's fist. But it wasn't just beans that Valley Man Beans grew. He also had a vast array of fruits, vegetables, and herbs, each with its own unique flavor and medicinal properties. And he was always experimenting with new techniques and methods, trying to coax even more life from the soil. Despite his isolated lifestyle, Valley Man Beans was beloved by the locals, who often sought out his advice on farming and gardening. And though he was happy to share his knowledge, he remained a bit of a mystery, a wild and unpredictable force of nature, living in harmony with the land he loved. Valley Man Beans had a wild mane of unkempt hair, and a thick, bushy beard that he rarely bothered to groom. He wore a tattered old hat and a raggedy old jacket, and his boots were caked with mud and dirt. Despite his rough appearance, Valley Man Beans was a kind and gentle soul, with a deep love for the land and all its creatures. He spent his days tending to his crops, talking to the plants and singing songs to them to help them grow. Valley Man Beans had a particular fondness for beans, and had dedicated his life to breeding new and unusual varieties. He had beans of every color and shape, from tiny red lentils to massive green limas the size of a man's fist. But it wasn't just beans that Valley Man Beans grew. He also had a vast array of fruits, vegetables, and herbs, each with its own unique flavor and medicinal properties. And he was always experimenting with new techniques and methods, trying to coax even more life from the soil. Despite his isolated lifestyle, Valley Man Beans was beloved by the locals, who often sought out his advice on farming and gardening. And though he was happy to share his knowledge, he remained a bit of a mystery, a wild and unpredictable force of nature, living in harmony with the land he loved. After years of research and experimentation, they finally succeeded. They created a new theme park called Jurassic World, where visitors could see living, breathing dinosaurs up close and personal. The park quickly became a global sensation, drawing millions of visitors from around the world. People marveled at the sight of massive brachiosauruses towering over them, and gasped as a velociraptor leaped out of the bushes. But as the years passed, cracks began to show in the park's operations. The dinosaurs were not just exotic pets or attractions, they were living, breathing creatures with their own instincts and desires. And as the park struggled to keep up with the demands of the crowds, the safety protocols began to falter. One day, disaster struck. A group of hackers infiltrated the park's security systems, causing chaos and destruction as the dinosaurs broke free from their enclosures and ran wild. The park was plunged into chaos, as visitors scrambled for safety and the dinosaurs roamed freely through the park. In the end, the scientists and engineers who had created the park were forced to confront the terrible consequences of their hubris. But despite the tragedy, there were those who still believed in the power of science and technology to change the world. They saw Jurassic World not as a failure, but as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers and responsibilities that come with playing God. And so, they continued their research, working to create a new era of scientific discovery and innovation, one that would be guided by wisdom and compassion, rather than blind ambition. With his keen intellect and cutting-edge technology, JW had created an impenetrable network of firewalls and security protocols, ensuring that the park's dinosaurs remained safely contained at all times. But when the park's security was breached, JW found himself facing a crisis that he had never anticipated. His beloved creations had become a danger to the very people he had sworn to protect. Determined to make amends for his mistakes, JW threw himself into the task of restoring order to the park. He worked tirelessly to repair the damaged systems and track down the rogue hackers who had caused the chaos. As he worked, JW began to realize that his programming skills alone were not enough to solve the problems at Jurassic World. He needed to understand the dinosaurs themselves, to study their behavior and instincts, in order to predict their movements and prevent future disasters. And so, JW set out on a new mission, to study the dinosaurs up close, to observe their behavior in the wild, and to develop new technologies and strategies for keeping them under control. Through his tireless work and dedication, JW became a key figure in the ongoing struggle to balance the power of science and technology with the needs of the natural world. He understood that the dinosaurs were not just objects to be controlled or exploited, but living creatures with their own unique strengths and weaknesses. And in the end, it was JW's compassion and empathy that helped to save the park from destruction, as he worked to forge a new relationship between humans and dinosaurs, one based on respect and mutual understanding. Unlike the friendly and wise Toadmaster they had previously met, the evil Toadmaster was a menacing figure. He wore a headdress made of bones, and his face was painted with black and red war paint. His eyes glowed with a sinister light, and his voice was cold and cruel. The team tried to reason with him, but he seemed immune to their pleas for peace. Instead, he summoned an army of fierce warriors, each wielding spears and clubs made from sharpened bones. The team fought valiantly, using their weapons and skills to fend off the attackers. But they quickly realized that they were outnumbered and outmatched. Just when it seemed like all was lost, the original Toadmaster appeared. He used his staff to summon the spirits of the land, and the jungle itself seemed to come to life, attacking the evil warriors and driving them away. The evil Toadmaster sneered at the team as he fled into the jungle, but they knew that they had made a powerful enemy. They resolved to be even more careful as they continued their exploration of the new world, for they never knew what dangers might be lurking around the next bend in the river or behind the next totem pole. Rob, on the other hand, was a human who lived in a much more recent time. He was an adventurer and explorer who spent his life traveling to the far corners of the world, searching for rare artifacts and treasures. It was on one of his expeditions that Rob stumbled upon the remains of Vivoxosaurus. The dinosaur had been extinct for millions of years, but Rob saw an opportunity to make a name for himself. He spent months studying the remains, piecing together the bones and reconstructing the skeleton. With the help of a team of scientists and engineers, Rob was able to bring Vivoxosaurus back to life using advanced cloning technology. At first, Vivoxosaurus was a wonder to behold. It was the first living dinosaur in millions of years, and people came from all over the world to see it. Rob became famous overnight, and he basked in the glory of his achievement. But as time went on, it became clear that there were problems with the experiment. Vivoxosaurus was not like other animals, it was a creature out of time, and it struggled to adapt to the modern world. The dinosaur became increasingly aggressive and unpredictable, and it was clear that it posed a danger to the people around it. Rob tried to keep it under control, but it was too late. Vivoxosaurus had grown too powerful, and it broke free from its enclosure, rampaging through the streets and causing chaos. In the end, Rob was forced to confront his mistake. He realized that he had been blinded by his own ambition, and that he had created a monster. He worked tirelessly to contain Vivoxosaurus, but it was a losing battle. In the end, the dinosaur was destroyed, and Rob's reputation was ruined. He retreated from the public eye, a broken man, haunted by the memory of his greatest failure. The adventurers met Indum when they stumbled upon his village, seeking shelter from a sudden storm. At first, The villagers were wary of the outsiders, but Indam took an immediate liking to them, sensing that they were not like the other foreigners who came through the region seeking to exploit its resources. He invited them to stay in his home, where he regaled them with tales of his many battles and conquests. The adventurers were in awe of his strength and courage, and they found themselves drawn to his magnetic personality. But as they stayed with Indam, they began to notice a darkness in him. He spoke often of the need to protect his people, even if it meant resorting to violence. He seemed to relish the idea of battle, and would often sharpen his battle axe late into the night, muttering to himself about the enemies he would face. The adventurers began to feel uneasy, sensing that there was something off about Indam. They knew that they had to be careful around him, for fear that he might turn on them at any moment. Despite their misgivings, they continued to stay with Indam, hoping to learn more about his people and the history of the region. But as the days passed, they began to realize that they had made a grave mistake in trusting him. Indam was not what he seemed, and they knew that they had to find a way to escape before it was too late.